Welcome to Warblog. Today we're looking at Jiyah, Syria. Jiyah is just under there, but there's actually a number of other villages involved. Essentially the Syrian Arab Army attack in this way, taking these villages, pushing these units back, but the Syrian Democratic Forces counter-attack and take everything back apart from this, or thereabouts. Suggestions of what the Syrian Arab Army are calling local Arab fighters, what the Syrian Democratic Forces are calling the Baqir Brigade, which is Iranian backed, being involved, but you know that's what both sides claim, so put them both in. It also sort of infers or refers to other events where the Syrian Arab Army sort of attacked a few places, but they came under severe bombardment and they had to retreat. So I assume that there's a possibility of severe bombardment, but I've not really included that. And when they say that, sort of is either artillery or possibility of airstrikes. It doesn't mention airstrikes, but these are what I think are sort of commonly known as US-backed forces, and I'm pretty sure that I probably sound like an idiot here, sort of even guessing that the US airstrikes that they've had US airstrikes in support of their actions. I mean, basically they're US-backed units. I mean, that's what is being said. And these are sort of all Russians, and I mean, the South Front article here says local observers believe that the new attack will end soon, especially that both the US and Russia are determined to avoid any direct military confrontation in Syria. So it's just another example of sort of the proxy war, but ignoring all of that. So what we've got here is the Syrian Defence Forces, the Syrian Arab Army. On the line across there's the Euphrates. Deir Ezzor is somewhere around here, I don't know where. So let's sort of jump into that. Let's just get the pen tool out to sort of just reiterate. So obviously we've got the front line there. These forces push through to there, and then the Syrian Democratic Forces counter-attack, pushing this way, restoring the line to something like that. Now, I don't know how that's going to work. Not sure that it will. I might have to rebalance things, and I might not get through it because I only really want to sort of get the basic introduction of this sort of in play. I've only got one piece of artillery. Let me think. Well, that would just have to do. I mean, these are not objectives. These are set there with. Well, this is how I set the game up. There's some infantry there. The infantry there, which is in that stack. There. All this infantry is entrenched and is static. So essentially the attack force is here. The local Arab fighters are there, and obviously the Baqir Brigade down here. So essentially it's not rocket science. This force is going to sort of come out this way somehow, either spread out or concentrate forces on one place. So could concentrate force, could sort of come down here, build a wedge and drive up that way. Obviously that would be a blocking force there, with these units maybe coming in and doing something on their own. you might want to sort of consider whether you use both of them, depending on whether you feel that there were local Arab fighters present or these Baqir Brigade units present. I don't think we could assume that they are both present. They're probably the same forces, just being identified differently by either side. But what I'm going to do is, that's my sort of first thought. I do like to sort of think again and again. That's not what I want to do. I want to do this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to push these in such a way that I can then envelop them. So I'm going to come this way and push down here and hopefully destroy them against the banks of the Euphrates. That's what I'm going to try and do. So that takes 1.5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's sit them there for the time being until everything's in position. These infantry units will probably not move very far. That's their lot. Right, so we've got some artillery in there somewhere. Let's position that. With motorized support. Okay, so I sort of positioned things. So I'm going to fire some artillery there. Okay. And that's it. I'm not going to go any further. So the Syrian Democratic Forces, what do they do? Well, I think at this stage we could almost assume, possibly, that they're not stupid, and sort of think, well, it might be better to say, well, the position is untenable because we can see this force building up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which alone will give them so they're doubled because they're entrenched. So it's give them 2 to 1, but they're mechanized versus infantry, so that'll be a 2 or 3 to 1, possibly with this armor. So there could be a 4 or 5 to 1 there. So they're going to lose. And they're sort of thinking, well, there's also these irregulars. I mean, we could hold out here because we're not going to get attacked there the next turn, but if we don't move out, we're going to get stuck by the river. So what I think I'm going to do here, and then I'll only be able to move 1, We might be able to move 2 on the road here. So getting on the road seems important, and we'll use this as a blocking force in that direction. Let's see how that works out. Okay, well, I think we're going to engage. Should have put the artillery on the road. So they're going to be 2.1, 1.6. I don't want to split them up. Keep his support with him. He's moving up with all of this armour. Let's just use these as a blocking force there. See, that's a DE. My new rules, that would have just pushed them back. I haven't done my new rules yet. Probably won't do them for a while. Well, not much they can do there really. I wish I could just sort of have these new rules in place, because I'm desperate to start playing with them now. I'm tired of that sort of happening. I think it's just too much. 2-to-1 an exchange. I like the DE result, and I like the clarity of it. It's just I think that once it happens, the balance can just become, you know, I mean, it's clearly now overwhelmingly in the favour of the Syrian Arab Army. I mean, the only thing to say is that the way I'm going to do it, the balance would still be quite likely that they would be eliminated when they're just a company. But my premise is, if you have a battalion, for example, you would be fighting against a certain number of units, but not all of them. You might be fighting 2 companies, and they might have 3 in reserve. They're just 2 on the front line and 3 in the front and 3 at the back, or you know, whatever sort of pyramid structure they want to use. It could be that the main assault only goes in at one place on the line, and although it causes what you might consider to be essentially a rout, they're in such good order that when they fall back, it's a bit different to a DR. I think a DR is when they're sort of, you know, operationally, or you know, command realises that the position is untenable and actually retreat back in a more orderly fashion. And this is slightly different. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the place to really sort of discuss that idea, but that's what I want to do. I mean, here now, it's, you know, if they'd fallen back, they would have probably gone to there, and it would still left them with this sort of line, but now they've just sort of lost that. So but they've also lost their means of escape here. Now, it's interesting to sort of consider what we could do there. See, the thing is, I can get these back there. Let's see if we can fight our way out. With a 1-to-1. I wonder if we get a surround on that. 1-to-3. Attack or retreat. Because it's armour. I did think about putting anti-tank, giving the Syrian Democratic Forces anti-tank, but I sort of couldn't be bothered really, so it's looking disastrous. And they're going to fall back. And because of that, I'm going to push these back here. Well, they were tenderized with the artillery though, so there is that. Well, I might as well at least try and get on the road. Send the artillery in on that. And then attack with the irregulars. And a DE. Well, that was pretty good. 3-to-1, and they got a good roll, so very different situation now. Send everyone, and I do want to do some stacking limits at some point. Actually, I just had a brainwave there. Instead of stacking limits, because I don't like that, I could have engagement limits, but that would still mean that I think there's already some rules in there that if you stack too highly, only the first few units count. I can't remember now. It gets quite complicated. DE. Well, there you go. You don't need much more complicated than that. Okay, and here come the Syrian Democratic Forces. Now, they would have hoped that maybe their forces would have survived a little more. They're going to have to push these back here. However, the armour, even with these 4 units, there's just not enough to counterattack. I'm going to sit there. We can even use these as a blocking force. I'm not going to engage up there, but what I am going to do is that. Okay, so they've got a bit more now, but we've taken all of these places. Still not much. I didn't give them any armour because I don't think the Americans can give them armour. They're driving around in, I think, American armoured vehicles, but I mean, this is about it. This is about as much of a counter-attack as I think that they can muster. I think we're going to have to definitely add a bit to all of this. 2 to 1. They could have done it, but they didn't. That said, it's tempting to finish the Syrian Democratic Forces off. We're on the road with our artillery now. Let's end the turn. Okie dokie. Major battle. 3 to 1 and DE. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I really can't see the Syrian Democratic Forces doing anything more. I'm going to rebalance it a little. See how that works out really. I think I was slightly lucky there. I think that one of the differences would be putting in that sort of that retreat rule, which I don't have time to do right now. I think that that would make a difference in a lot of these sort of situations. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. If you want to play this yourself, see how you fare, then sign up and give it a whirl. I'll speak to you later. Bye.